I thought he
the
got
toe
a skate
save.
on it, but it wasn't a skate. It was definitely off the post.
And he did it very quickly, coming in front of the net, just wheeling it. What a great play, but tough luck for Wayne Gretzky.
The Oilers clear it into the Edmonton zone as Pat Hughes shot it in. Now Fox for Los Angeles, beating J.P. Kelly. Kelly for Los Angeles. Buer makes the glove save and gives it to Coffey. Coffey checked in the corner. Here's Kelly. He's tied up on the play by Laurie Boschman. Now Terrien for Los Angeles. Greg Terrien gets turned around and was taken out of the play by Boschman. Back come the Oilers. Hunter racing in on left wing after a loose puck. Centered one. It was Hughes who took a poke at it, but Lassard cleared it away. And back comes Jim Fox to Kelly. Kelly getting it in around the defense. Coffey has it there. Clearing it back into the center ice area. And it is taken by the Oilers as Laurie Boschman, the former Leaf, got it in, but Gary Korab broke that up. Gary Larabier at center ice drops into Coffey. We're in the final minute of the first period. Here is Anderson. Anderson working it in. Korab took him out of the play. And Larry Murphy back to tie up Anderson. Simmer is there for Los Angeles. Here's Charlie Simmer. Shooting one along the boards, and he put it up over the glass and into the crowd. 42 seconds now remaining in the period. The only scoring play back early in this game. Marcel Dion from Kelly and Taylor at 5:52 of this period. There you see the Los Angeles coach, John Perry. He took over midway through the season when Parker McDonald was let go as the Kings coach. Here's Dion against Gretzky. Gretzky wins the faceoff. Back to Curry. Now to Huddy. Huddy a drive, and Lassard makes the save and held onto it, and we'll have a faceoff in the Los Angeles zone. Mario Lassard, a 9th-round draft choice of the Kings back in 1974. Having an off year for him, but coming up very big with 2 shutouts in his last 3 games. And here's the save off Huddy. He came out, cut down the angle, gave Huddy no room at all, or no net at all to shoot at, and made the save. Here's Huddy again. Lassard, another save. And Dion cleared it. It's held in by Huddy. Now in front, another save by Lassard off Gary Curry. And Simmer has it and shot at the center. Here's Anderson in the final 15 seconds of the first period, dumping it in for Edmonton. Gary Korab to Simmer. Simmer being pinned in against the boards by Curry. Now Anderson and Korab jam up, but the period comes to an end with the Oilers being frustrated with some good scoring chances in the latter part of that period by the Kings goaltender Mario Lassard, the man you see right now. Shots on goal in the first period favored Los Angeles 11-10. The score after one period, the Los Angeles Kings 1, the Edmonton Oilers 0. We'll return with our between period activities right after this.
See him after 20 minutes of hockey here on Monday Night NHL on USA. It is Los Angeles 1 and the Edmonton Oilers 0. First intermission guest, number 99, Wayne Gretzky. And Wayne, you had a couple of close chances in that first period, but Mario Lassard is doing well, and you just seem to be having tough luck.
Well, I guess that Mario's played very well in the last little while for them, and I think that a goaltender is so important for a hockey team, and he's definitely giving them a big boost. The last little while I've had trouble putting the puck in the net, but you can't give up. You just got to keep working at it, and I had a couple of good chances that period, especially the second one. I had an empty net, and I shot it wide. Hopefully I can bounce back this period and get things going.
I understand you've never broken a hockey stick in your career. Is that true?
Well, fortunately, the hockey sticks that I endorse tight, and I've played 4 years of professional hockey, and I've never broken one yet. So,
did you feel like breaking one after you missed those 2 goals?
Well, if there was a crossbar nearby, I could have broken it over that, but I've been very fortunate with my hockey sticks.
I understand you're pretty good at Pac-Man. Is that true?
Well, I guess that being a professional hockey player, sometimes you have a little bit of time to spare, especially in airports, so we get lots of chances to use it, and I've played quite a bit of it.
What else do you do to unwind?
Well, I think the easiest way to unwind is basically just get away from it all. I live with Kevin Lowe, defenseman on our hockey team, and we live downtown, and, you know, it's just nice to get away and watch a little TV and listen to some music and just basically get away from everything, you know, the game, the people, everything, and that's the way we relax.
How many interviews would you say you've been in since the beginning of this season?
Excuse me. Well, I've done a lot of interviews, but first of all, being a professional athlete, it's part of it. Secondly, being a hockey player and in the position I'm in, it's hopefully can help hockey, hope the National Hockey League. So we don't mind doing them, and we do a lot of them. But I consider myself very fortunate. There's baseball players and then people who live in New York area, Los Angeles area, go through a lot more than I do. So I feel very fortunate.
I think you are very fortunate, but I think you're handling it very well. If you were sitting in my chair, though, knowing everything that I know and that you know, what would you ask Wayne Gretzky?
Can you still score goals? I think that'd be my first question. I'm beginning to wonder. I think that's what I'd ask right now.
The people that I've spoken to that know you pretty well say that you answer challenges pretty well. When someone goes out and beats you on a play or scores a beautiful goal, you go out there and take challenges. If I challenge you to go out there and score 3 in the second and third period, would you be able to do it?
Well, I've never turned down a challenge. I'm going to do the best I can to help the hockey team win, and I'm paid to put the puck in the net. So hopefully I can score 3 goals this period. I had enough chances the first period to have 3, but this period definitely I'm going to put my mind to it and get going again. And I've got to do it. That's what I do to help this hockey team, and I have to score goals.
I stopped in your Western wear store today, and of course they have some beautiful boots there and some hats, and I know you're really fond of all that type of outfit, but I saw a shirt partner for $475. So I bought 6 of them, and you can thank your store manager for that. No, seriously. What is the story with the jeans and everything else, and how'd that all happen?
Well, basically through my agent Gus Badali, he handles all my endorsements. We've just now expanded into a new group in a new area. Michael Barnett is going to handle all my endorsements and handle all that kind of stuff. And you know, I've endorsed a lot of things now, and the Western Corral was just basically a business adventure. It was nothing more than that. And it's a nice store. It's a fashion Western wear, and you know, as you said, it is expensive, and I don't shop there very often.
Wayne, I know all the fans that ask you for your autograph are quite often a pain in the neck. So while I tell you what we're going to give you, could you just give me your autograph here to Al, if you wouldn't mind? We'd like to thank Wayne for coming on here after period number 1 and for being our in-between period guest. Wayne will receive a year's supply of Men and Hawk aftershave and cologne. Now for the man who reaches higher, Hawk, a clean, brisk outdoor scent. As free-spirited as the man who wears it, Hawk cologne and aftershave by minute. Wayne Gretzky wasn't always 21 years old. At one point in his life, he was indeed 4, and he was skating even then for 2 years. Coming up, Rod Gilbert will join me for news in the NHL next on Monday Night NHL Hockey here on USA. Rod Gilbert here at the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton, Alberta. After 1 period, it is the Los Angeles Kings 1 and the Edmonton Oilers nothing. Joining me now is Rod Gilbert, and as usual, time for news in the NHL. And we'll kick things off with the Player of the Week, and we're seeing him tonight in the nets for Los Angeles, Mario Lessard, who went 3-0 last week and had 2 shutouts.
That was a fantastic week and very competitive for him to win that award, because a lot of other players did very well. But Mario Lessard, as of last year, was the #1 goaltender. As a matter of fact, 1 of the 2, he made the second All-Star team. And now this year he was struggling a little bit. Los Angeles was struggling a little bit. And as of late, and especially last week, he's really done well.
There's been a shakeup in St. Louis. Red Berenson is out. Emile Francis is in. The St. Louis Blues have acquired Guy Lapointe from the Montreal Canadiens for future considerations and have acquired Glenn Hanlon, a goaltender from the Vancouver Canucks, from Tony Curry, Jim Nill, Rick Hines, and a draft pick. And the new coach of the St. Louis Blues, Emile Francis, took him out to a mini camp to try and straighten that team out.
Well, that was a little bit of a shocking news to see Red Berenson depart the scene, because last year he was awarded the Coach of the Year, but knowing Emile Francis and having played under him when he was the general manager, he doesn't have very much patience when the team doesn't win. So by his replacement. But there's one question here, is that after he obtained Guy Lapointe and after he obtained Hanlon from Vancouver, Red Berenson had this comment: why didn't he bring these guys and let me coach them and see how I could do? But it's all over, and Francis is taking charge of the Blues.
In Detroit, another coaching change. The eighth of the NHL season. Wayne Maxner is out. Billy Day, the assistant coach, is in. And the Norris family, having trouble, says the team is up for sale. In addition now, Wilf Paymon, who was traded to Quebec from the Toronto Maple Leafs for Miroslav Fleischer, a Czechoslovak forward. Meanwhile, Paymon goes to Quebec and scores 4 goals, 3 assists in 2 games and was a candidate for Player of the Week.
I feel bad for Mike Nicklock and the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know, they've been struggling all year, and they had a fellow like Wilf Paymon that's a good young hockey player and did not play this year up to his potential. And now he was sort of being lazy in Toronto, and now he changes team and he goes to Quebec, and then he becomes a star in his last 2 games. I wish that Wilf Paymon would have done it for Toronto and have Toronto being up there in the standing. But there's a lot of problems in Toronto. A lot of the players are dissatisfied for some reason or another. But when a player of that caliber, you should try your best with the team that you're on.
And Harold Ballard, the owner of Toronto, now says Mike Nicklock's job is on the line. Certainly been a season of streaks in the NHL, and last week we told you Brian Trottier was in the middle of one, a point-scoring streak, but unfortunately over the past weekend he fell victim to Mario Lessard and had his point-scoring streak stopped at 25. Wayne Gretzky had one at 24, which was stopped earlier, and the record is Guy Lafleur 28. And a lot of people compare Trottier and Gretzky.
Well, Trottier in New York is probably regarded as the best all-around player in the league. And now by obtaining that streak, he showed that he was one better than Gretzky. So in this point, it's going to be fun maybe to see these 2 teams go against one another in the playoffs.
And last week we also told you that there was a snag in the January 4th deal that sent Robbie Ftorek from the Quebec Nordiques to the Rangers. When Jerry Gillis reported to Quebec, but Dean Talbot said, "I'd rather retire." Well, finally John Ziegler stepped in and Pat Hickey finally decided to report.
Well, talking with Pat, he was quite in distress that he was the one that had to go to Quebec. But the arbitrator, John Ziegler, said that in this case, he was the one that had to choose the player, and Pat Hickey has reported to Quebec, as we understand, and I wish him well there because he's been shuffled around quite a bit in the last couple of years, so good luck to Pat Hickey.
No question about it. And that about wraps up news in the NHL on Monday Night NHL Hockey here on USA. Wayne Gretzky, 11 years ago at age 10, and he was scoring even then. We'll be back for the start of the second period here on USA, coast to coast, after these messages.
I'm Dan Kelly. Rod Gilbert, the former New York Ranger great, is with us. So is Al Krotwig. And we hope you're enjoying our USA Network telecast from the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. As Dave Taylor, number 18, gives the puck over to Kelly. His shot stopped by Fuhr, and then the rebound to Dion. And with Fuhr out of position, Dion is able to put it home, and the Kings lead 1-0. Wayne Gretzky missed a pair of seemingly sure goals. Here was one of them. Siltanen over to Charlie Huddy, then in front of the net, and Gretzky actually worked in behind the goaltender and then put it wide of the open net. He was in behind the goaltender and missed the open net. Here we look at Grant Fuhr, the 19-year-old rookie, the #1 draft choice of the Oilers. The first black goaltender to ever play in the National Hockey League. And there you see the Oiler backup goaltender, Ron Lowe, talking things over with Fuhr, who's had a tremendous rookie season here with this Edmonton club. He's still only 19 years of age. His one-loss record, 24 wins, 5 losses, 12 ties, and his goals against average, 3.45. Grant Fuhr of Edmonton. The Oilers are on the ice. As yet no sign of the Los Angeles Kings for this, the second period. In another game in the NHL this evening, as we look at the Kings returning to the ice, led by Mario Lessard. In the third period in Bloomington, Minnesota, the Minnesota North Stars lead the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-2. That's the only other game in the NHL this evening.
The slump. I've known myself to be too entered in a lot of those, but you just keep shooting and try to keep working hard. I didn't really say that, Danny. He just knows what to do at all times. He's just a sensational young man, but he took the time to come over and shake hands with me, and just in between periods. So
he has handled all this fame and acclaim in a fine way. Gretzky, who just turned 21 years of age. He was the WHA scoring champion, tied for the NHL scoring title 2 years ago, won it last year, smashing all kinds of records this year. And here is Gretzky on a face-off against Dion as the second period gets underway. Edmonton Siltanen working it out on left wing for Anderson. He's checked, and Dion shot it to center. Now the puck at the Oiler blue line. Siltanen firing it back out, and that's called back on a two-line offside from inside the Edmonton blue line to the Los Angeles side of center ice. Mark Hardy, the young Los Angeles defenseman.
Well, they're quite pleased with this young man. His production is up from last year. He's got 6 goals already and 31 assists for 37 points. He's rough. He's got 128 minutes in penalties, so he's tough. He plays the body well back there.
Here's Siltanen for Edmonton to Gretzky. At center ice to Anderson. Anderson, quick shot wide of the target, bounces behind the Kings goal, and this is Dave Taylor. Taylor into the center ice area. Gretzky knocks it down. Now here's Simmer stealing one, but the play goes offside at the Edmonton blue line. Simmer had to put himself offside, and he fires the puck at the boards in disgust.
It was actually mishandle at the blue line, and Simmer almost found himself in the clear and going on a breakaway. But Dan, do you notice the boards? The puck seems to take funny bounces off these boards for some reason. Like the one behind the net, it just like hits the back of the net and then came back in front in a very funny way.
Good point. Hadn't noticed that. Anytime I've been here before, Gretzky has the puck all the time. Haven't noticed the boards. Here is the loose puck with LaRiviere for Edmonton, firing it in. Digging in on the boards is Pat Hughes. He's checked. Larry Murphy fires it to center for Los Angeles. The Kings are leading 1-0. Now here is Fox for Los Angeles, dumping it in. LaRiviere, number 6, back to try and clear it. Terrian intercepts that, but couldn't center it. Puck still loose, and now play is called, and we're going to have a penalty on the play. As referee Ron Hogarth stops play and sending to the penalty box Pat Hughes for elbowing. For our local affiliates, we'll pause now. You're watching Monday Night. So a penalty called here against the Oilers against Pat Hughes. There's the call.
Well, Pat Hughes, in talking with Glenn Sather, feels that that was a very, very important addition to this club. You know, he came as highly regarded by Montreal, went to Pittsburgh, and got traded to Edmonton, and he's very aggressive. And this year, he's already got a number of goals. Like, he's got 23 goals already for this team. And he plays good, hard-nosed hockey, this Pat Hughes.
He's off for elbowing, 1:09, the time of the penalty. Here are the Kings on the power play as they come back into their own zone, and number 20, Mark Hardy, controls. Hardy giving it to Dion. Dion with a flip pass. Fogelin intercepts that. Shoots it back in, but one of the Edmonton players was already in there, namely Hunter. So the play is offside. Dave Hunter, one of 3 Hunter brothers playing on the National Hockey rookie line. Bozak with the other 2 players who are also rookies, Smith and Nichols. 3 rookies in the same line.
Well, this Bernie Nichols has really impressed since he's come up. He's only played 11 games, and he's already got 10 points. And he was in New Haven playing for the Nighthawks, a farm team of LA, and he scored 41 goals down there. And he does it all up here.
Los Angeles with a new forward line. It's centered to Terrian, but broken up. And here's Gretzky to center ice. Gretzky skated off and knocked down by Korab. And Korab will get a hooking penalty. And Korab can't believe that he was called for hooking.
Whoa. I don't know if we should really analyze or replay this one.
I wouldn't have called the penalty.
I certainly watched the replay here. A little tap to Gretzky. Maybe Hogarth felt that there was a little bit of high sticking, but Gretzky's legs sort of on a nice swan dive, whoop, I think he lost his head and he just went down, but certainly to the distress of Korab, certainly didn't feel that there should have been a penalty call there, but nevertheless, the Oilers have another power play. Or, I'm sorry.
No, each team will be a man
That's
short.
right, 4 against 4. Even it up. That could have been the reason he called it.
58 seconds left in the other penalty as now Korab goes up. Here's Rick Chartraw for Los Angeles. And the puck slides near the Kings goal, and Lassard grabbed it before Matty Hagman could get to it. And he held on to it. Dion and Taylor are the Los Angeles forwards. As we look at the Kings bench and their coach, Don Perry. He's back in his hometown, Edmonton, Alberta. Coached for many years in the International League with Muskegon, or Saginaw was.
He also played for the Long Island Ducks.
Here's Marcel Dion. Dion. Each team a man short. Dion's lead pass to Taylor. All the way into the zone, then cleared away. Here's Dion getting it back to Chartraw. His shot nowhere near the net. Edmonton's Hagman couldn't do anything, and here is Lowe for the Oilers. Kevin Lowe headmanning it to Mark Messier. Messier to Hagman. Now getting it in front to Lowe. A shot that hits Messier's skate and deflected off. And it is Marcel Dion clearing it to center. Lowe for the Oilers. Passing to Messier. Back to Lowe. Now the Oilers have the power play as Hughes is back on. Here's Hughes taking the pass. Cuts in on right wing. Lassard to save. And Messier put it over top of the open net. Now Gretzky in front. Centered one, and they shoot it wide. As Gretzky faked the shot and centered it, and the two Oilers fanned on it. Now Coffey at the point. Over to the other point. Back to Coffey, but tipped away by the rookie Nichols. And now, or it was Bonner who tipped it away. Now here's Gretzky coming back for Edmonton. To Hughes on right wing. Hughes taken out of the play. Now Messier behind the net to Gretzky. Back to Siltonen. Shoots. Saved by Lassard and then cleared away by the Kings. 8 seconds left in the penalty. Here's Gary Curry to Gretzky. Shooting, and he shot it wide. Now the penalized player Korab is back on. Siltonen at the point. To Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky back to Siltonen. Siltonen is checked, and Jay Wells gives it to the veteran Mike Murphy, who clears it down the ice. And that will be an icing call against Los Angeles on the play. With the score, Los Angeles 1, Edmonton nothing. We'll return to Edmonton in just a moment. "15 minutes, 27 seconds remaining in the first period. Or the second period, I should say. Los Angeles leading this game 1-0. Here are the Oilers centering one. Gary Curry dropping it back to the point. There's the shot by Lowe. Lassard the save. Now Anderson trying to center one. It goes to the corner. Gretzky taken out of the play. And John Paul Kelly for Los Angeles to Larry Murphy. Murphy dumping it in. Ewer cleared it away. Curry on right wing. Shot it to the line. Here's Fox to Kelly. Now to Terrien. Back over for Kelly, but behind him. Kelly trying to get it again, but Gretzky has it for Edmonton. Gretzky skated off on the play by Kelly. Now Fox poking one in. That's broken up, and we're going to have a penalty here against Edmonton. Delayed penalty coming up against the Oilers as Terrien drops it into his own zone to Mark Hardy. Hardy up the middle for Dion. Now Dion giving it to Terrien. In across the line, Lowe intercepts it, and now play is called. And the penalty is going to be against Kevin Lowe for tripping. For our local affiliates, we'll pause now. You're watching Monday Night NHL Hockey on the USA Cable Network.
More hockey action comes your way on USA this Saturday night as the New York Rangers travel to Landover, Maryland to meet the playoff-thirsty Washington Capitals. The Caps are fighting a desperate uphill battle for a playoff spot that seems to elude them every year. Can they make it happen? Find out as USA Cable Network presents Washington Capitals hockey as the Caps meet the New York Rangers Saturday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on the official network of the National Hockey League, USA.
They score! Nichols and Dion both were there. I think Nichols was the man who put it in.
Well, Nichols is the one that has his stick on the puck. As we're going to probably see the replay, Nichols at the actually stick on the block, and we'll watch Dion actually help him in. It may have been Dion that scores this goal. We see Dion takes the shot. Watch, this is Nichols going to come back. Dion, I think, guessed it.
It is Dion. Let's watch it again. Nichols took a swipe at it. There you see Nichols, but then Dion was there with the stick, so he does get the goal. His second of the game, 45th of the year. Nichols and Zimmer the assists at 5:45. 2-0, Los Angeles. Here's Dave Lumley. Clearing one in, and here's the break for Messier. Lassard slid out, broken up. And the Kings come back, led by the rookie Bernie Nichols, number 9. Here's Nichols. Ridden out of the play by Siltanen. Now Bozak back of the net. He's checked, and Huddy has it for Los Angeles. Now we're going to get a penalty against Bozak as he pulled down the Los Angeles player with a little bit of aggressive forechecking. And the penalty coming up against Bozak of the Kings. What a chance Mark Messier had.
Well, as we watch how well he puts the puck in front of him and cuts, but Lassard can't do anything wrong. You know, I've never seen a team in Edmonton missing so many good chances. But one of the reasons is certainly because of Lassard is playing sensational in the net.
Here's the hooking penalty against Bozak.
He had a long extension on that stick there, Dan.
6:22 the time of the penalty. So the Oilers, who have fallen behind 2-0, will operate on the power play here.
By the way, Dan, this was only the first goal in the last 19 chances for LA on their power play, so they're out of that slump now.
Here's Siltanen, number 8 for the Oilers, passing it on right wing to Messier. Mark Messier leaving it for Gretzky. He drops it back, but Dan Bonner was there. Now Gretzky is knocked down. The Oilers hold it in. Here's Messier dropping it back. It comes to center ice. Siltanen over to Huddy as the Oilers drop back into their own zone to reorganize. Now Huddy to Messier. Ahead to Gretzky. Gretzky into Lumley. Here's Lumley right in front. Backhander. High off the glass. Here's Gretzky after it. Number 99, Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky centers one, and that's deflected by Huddy wide of the net. And Mike Murphy then cleared it away.